All right, today we are diving into a skill that is honestly an absolute must-have for getting by in our super-packed, information-heavy world. And I'm talking about critical reading. But this isn't some boring school assignment. No, this is about making smarter decisions every single day. Our mission? We're going to turn you into a truth evaluator.
I mean, we've all been in this situation, right? You're scrolling on your phone, a news report claims one thing, but then you jump over to the family group chat and, well, it's a totally different story being debated with a lot of passion. It gets so confusing, and it all boils down to one simple question. Who do you actually believe?
Being able to cut through all that noise to clearly see what's a real solid fact versus what's just someone's point of view, that is a modern day superpower. And today, we're going to get you trained up.
So, here it is. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to learn how to read critically. And this has nothing to do with reading faster. It's all about reading smarter, with a real purpose.
See, critical reading is not about just letting the words wash over you. It's an active process. You become a truth evaluator, constantly asking yourself, is this a solid, provable truth, or is it just what this person happens to believe? And to be a great truth evaluator, you need the right tools. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to build your toolkit. These are the go-to skills and processes you'll use every single time you come across new information. First up in the toolkit, we have 3 core stages. The first one is understanding. Pretty straightforward, right? What is the author actually writing about? Next is identifying. This is where you put on your detective hat. What techniques are they using to try and convince you? And then finally, the big one, evaluating. This is where you make the final call. Is their argument fair? Is it believable?
And part 2 of the toolkit is your 5-step reading process. Just think of it like a simple routine. You survey the text first to get the general layout. Then you skim it to quickly find the main idea. After that, you do a careful line-by-line read. Now, this is important. You have to pause and recall the main points to really let them sink in. And hey, don't be afraid to reread anything that feels a little tricky. This process makes sure you don't miss a thing.
All right, now for what I think is the most important tool in your entire kit. The master skill of any truth evaluator is knowing that crucial difference between a fact and an opinion. Seriously, getting this one thing down changes everything. So a fact, that's objective reality. It's something that can be proven true or false. For example, Nigeria gained independence in 1960. You can go check the history books on that. An opinion, on the other hand, well, that's a belief or a feeling. It can't be proven. And you want to look out for those clue words like best, worst, or should. For example, if someone says Nigerian jollof rice is the world's most delicious food. Now, look, as much as many of us would probably agree with that, it's a matter of taste. It is a classic opinion. Delicious is a judgment, not something you can actually prove with data. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's actually put this new toolkit of yours to the test. We're going to look at a little passage about the Abuja Metro line and practice pulling apart the facts from the opinions. You ready? Okay, here's our first clue from the text. It says, the first phase was inaugurated in 2018. As a truth evaluator, what's your gut reaction? Fact or opinion? That's a fact. And here's why. It can be verified. We can go check official records, news reports from that year, project documents. We can prove that inauguration happened on that specific date. It's totally objective. All right, let's grab another piece from that text. The author mentions the terrible congestion. Now, what's that word terrible telling you? Yep, that's a big flashing sign for an opinion. You see, while you can measure traffic congestion with data, like travel times, that word terrible is a personal judgment. It's how the author feels about the traffic. What one person thinks is terrible, someone else might just call it typical Tuesday commute. Let's do one more. The author says that it's simply unfair that some people weren't compensated. This one has a bit more emotion behind it, doesn't it? And that's exactly the key. Words like unfair or phrases like I feel strongly about this, they are dead giveaways that you're dealing with an opinion. They're telling you about the author's personal sense of right and wrong, not a piece of provable information. And just like that, you've used your new toolkit to break down a real-world text. The whole goal now is to take these skills with you and start applying them to everything you read, everything you watch, and everything you hear. So let's do a quick mission debrief.
First, remember your new title. You are a truth evaluator. Second, use your toolkit, those 3 stages and 5 steps. Third, master that core skill, separating what's provable from what's personal. And always, always be on the lookout for those clue words. Dates and stats usually point to facts. Judgments like best or terrible point to opinions.
And that brings us to one last thought to leave you with. The very next time you see a shocking headline or hear someone make a bold claim, what is the first thing that your new truth evaluator brain is going to look for? Is it provable or is it just a feeling? The power to figure that out is now in your hands.